Where are we doing the things that like kind of keep us repeating that cycle instead of like overcoming stuff? Welcome back to the Humaning Well podcast. My name is Amber Cabral, and yes, this is how my voice starts out in the morning. So it's so funny because I tried to record this episode several times yesterday, and I had an issue with my microwave. And so my maintenance people were like in and out, and were like, drilling and banging, and ultimately had to replace a microwave. And so I just didn't get it done. So I was like, okay, I'm going to get up early and do it early. But I also know that some of y'all are voice geeks and you listen to me because you like my voice, which I am grateful for. Thank you for that. But also this is my morning voice. And so if it seems a little more sultry than usual or a little more raspy, that's because you are the first person I am talking to today. And I typically record in the afternoons or evenings. So forgive me for that. So here's what we're going to do. I was thinking about the end of the year and the things that I like to do for the end of the year. And I'm going to share that with you. So for the next 4 weeks, the episodes are going to be short. And they're going to be focused on getting us ready for the new year. And I'm not talking about like, oh, here's how you vision board or build resolutions. I think you know how to do that. And if you don't, there are tons of creators that can give you guidance for that. What I'm presently doing is taking time to do some intentional, like humaning well practices that will help set me up for the new year. So that's more so what I want to share with you. And so in each of the next 4 episodes, I'm going to cover one of the humaning well pillars. This one will be health. And I'm going to share some things with you to consider as you get ready for the new year as it relates to that pillar. Because I feel like if we can just set our mind on track, we can get a little bit of a head start and it won't feel so like New Year's resolution-y. So today's episode, like I said, is going to be focused on health. And in the spirit of what I feel like has been a bit of a theme in the last few episodes, I want to remind yourself that you have to take care of yourself. You need to. And you have to do it intentionally. Like, it's not like a thing that just happens. You don't just inherit this container and, it just operates without your attention. You literally have to take care of yourself. Seriously. If you're progressing on all of the fun shit, but you're skipping out on the things that will make your body healthy, you won't be able to continue enjoying the fun shit. At some point, the knees are not going to work well. The hips are locked up. The brain is cloudy. You're operating in avoidance or avoiding, at least healthy connections. You're running your body into the ground. Let's just not take that with us into 2026, right? So for me, that looks like, for the first time in a really long time, I set some goals for my physical body and I'm intentionally working toward them. So those of you who follow this podcast know that I've been kind of trying to get my groove in terms of like movement. Well, now I'm at the point where I like have a goal and a vision in mind. And part of it is just that I want to enjoy my body for another few decades without pain or like needing assistance or anything like that. I want my nervous system to also be a lot more regulated. And I think I'm more regulated than a lot of people. So before 2026 gets booked with anything else ridiculous, I am planning out my health goals and what I am going to do to get there. This is not resolution setting. I want to lose X number of pounds by this date. I have a loose idea about that, but it is more about like, what changes do I need to make to my life to make this achievable for me? I'm also in this interesting space where I'm finding a real connection between like how sexy and attractive and alluring I feel and my level of creativity. So I am a bit inspired to lean into my like intimate identity, my sexuality, and like what health shifts come as I make accommodations for that part of myself. And I also want to make sure that I'm planning to align with that. Like, what am I doing to like pour into my femininity and, the things that kind of make me feel good in that way. I really want 2026 to make more room for me creatively. I haven't done a lot. I've done a lot, but I haven't done a lot creatively, if that makes sense. I've done a lot of working. And I think my body is calling out for me to be like, yeah, where's the fun part? And so a lot of my health shifts are also connected to like igniting the creativity. There is no reason, okay? We are literally at the top of December when you're listening to this. There's no reason to have a crash landing into January. Okay, there just isn't. I'm going to give you a few questions to reflect on and consider how you can show up for your health in the new year. And before I do that, I want you to just realize that like you are listening to this at a time where media and culture and consumerism is trying to steal your attention. But it's likely a time you might get a little bit more time to yourself than normal, right? And so if that's the case, like take that time. Don't let the consumerism of it all steal it from you. Do the labor of actually like figuring out what you can shift, what would be better for you in the new year. Okay. So here are my questions. The first one, what does my body need from me right now that I am pretending that I don't hear? What does my body need from me right now that I am pretending that I don't hear? We all ignore things. Let's make a plan that doesn't require that anymore. Okay? Like let's not ignore. Let's not choose that. The second one is, where am I choosing convenience or avoidance over what actually makes me well? And here's the thing, no shame. We have habits and vices and things that like, oh, give me a good dopamine hit when I really need it. But like, where are we doing the things that like kind of keep us repeating that cycle instead of like overcoming stuff? All right. So think about that honestly as you're building a plan to reset. Third question, if my health shaped the quality of my next decade, what habits would I start today? So if what you are doing right now is going to impact your ability to exist in the next 10 years, what would you add? My goal with this question is to connect like your short-term desires to like your long-term quality of life, because we tend to think of like, well, I mean, I'm okay right now. I mean, my knees are a little tight. You know, I could probably do a little bit better with my cardio. But I want you to think about like, if you don't do it, like you haven't been doing it, how's that going to show up in 10 years? What is that going to do for your ability to like, I don't know, get up and down out of seating, to like enjoy time with your kids or your nieces and nephews or whatever, right? What does that look like? Fourth question, how do I want to feel in my body next year? And what daily choices align with that feeling? This one is one I ask myself very regularly. Got to make the shifts, okay? Fifth one, I want you to think about the version of you who is going to live in 2026. Like literally imagine that out. What do they need to start, stop, or soften? Because we also like to beat ourselves up, so that you don't hand them a body, a container that is depleted. All right. What do you need to stop, start, or soften? As you contemplate these, do not ignore your nervous system. I am on a nervous system journey, have been for the last year-ish. Your nervous system is the first thing to tell you when you're out of alignment. All right. It can be irritation. It can be sensitivity. It can be anxiety. It can be shut down. It can be just a general like sense of unease. Instead of ignoring that information, use it. It's data. It's direction. And I realized that I was spending a lot of time ignoring a number of things that were making me uncomfortable because it just felt like my whole life was uncomfortable. I think we still have to tune in even when it feels like life is uncomfortable, because I think I would not have missed some really important things had I been doing that. Okay. So last thing I want to give you in this episode, again, I told you it was going to be short. I want to make sure that you get some episodes that you can go back to, because like we've shot a lot this year. I've shot a lot for you this year, and I want you to be able to tune back into some healthy reminders. So I'm just going to give you a few episodes. I'm going to give you the numbers and what it's called in some places, because the episode titles, and some of you may have noticed this, they are different depending on where you listen. So if you listen, you know, just to audio, then the title name may be different than if you are listening on YouTube, and that there's lots of algorithmic reasons for that, but that's what it is. Okay. So here are the episodes that I think you may want to revisit if you are struggling to unpack your answers for any of the questions that I just asked you. Episode 22, get grounded. You just need to start somewhere. Yeah, episode 22. Okay. You just need to start somewhere. Let's not obsess about this thing. Go back, play that episode, would be a good one for you, just kicking off like, I want to think differently about myself. Okay. Episode 40, healing isn't a straight line, because we tend to think of, you know, ourselves as getting to a place where we are healed, and that's like not real. You're like always going to be healing, and it's going to look different and be in different places. And then episode 43, be kind to yourself, which is an episode that was right before this one. Or maybe it was 2 before this one by the time you get to this. So, you know, definitely tune into that. I am learning to be nicer to myself for sure. I'd love to hear what you start to come up with as you set yourself up for a good 2026, particularly in the health pillar. Please keep in mind, health is not something you fix just once. It's something you practice. Like everything we talk about, this is something that you practice. And we all know that whatever you practice starting right now puts you in a better position to set the tone for your entire year next year. Be gentle with it, be intentional about it, and be honest about what you need. Okay? So that's the episode. You're going to get 3 more of these, and I'm excited to hear what you come up with. All right. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you next week.